Opportunity to share my views at this conference. Being the last speaker of the session, you always have an excuse as well as opportunity to say that most of the points are already covered by the previous speakers. I'm also not the exception here. However, I'll try my best to give a kind of overview of the overall connectivity paradigm with particular reference to India and Central Asia. The first and foremost, which is the chair of the session, is that culture and historical connectivity, or connection maybe, which is already have been said that India and Central Asia have a shared geoculture affinity and a long tradition of historical contacts that dates back to antiquity. Despite the physical barriers of the high Himalayas and Hindu Kush mountain range, close social and cultural ties existed between the people of India and Central Asia. And you can find out these historical linkages which were cemented by many factors, such as by the ideological forces of Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, Islam, Sufism, by the influx of Aryans, Sakas, Kushan, Turks, Mughals, by the high mobility of politicians, statesmen, scholars, spiritualities, artists, craftsmen, literary, and traders. But what is fascinating is that the movement of people, trade, and ideas, which are sculptured at the mutual culture influences, augmented the perspective of human development and left a deep imprint to the entire region's political, economical, as well social life. I have recently an opportunity to review the book edited by none other than the chair of this session, Shri Sachidanand Joshi sir, and by the Shri Vinay Sahasrabudhe sir, titled Connecting Through Culture and Overview of India's Soft Power Strength. And I found out it very important to talk about in that particular session is that this anthology eloquently presents the various ingredients of Indian culture as the chief instrument of the soft power, such as epics, tradition, health and medicine, music, dance, theater, cinema, textile, cuisines, and pearl of age-old wisdom. This is also established fact that culture shapes soft power. And India's culture, since times immemorial, has played a vital role in connecting India with the rest of the world, including Central Asia region. And why I'm talking about this with this particular session is that because I myself experienced this during teaching last 5 years in Eurasian National University in Kazakhstan, where you will be very interesting to know that most of the frequent requests I received were to dance to the song of Mithun Chakravarti, Jimmy Jimmy, many times, which is very famous in Kazakhstan. People also ask many times if I am the elder brother of Avika Gaur, who played the favorite character of Anandi in the Balika Vadhu serial, which is also very famous in Kazakhstan and other Central Asian countries. They also have the dubbed version of Balika Vadhu, which is very famous in all the Central Asian countries. So that was something which is very important to talk about, ingredients of the soft power, India's soft power, which I myself experienced into that. Next, coming to the political and diplomatic connectivity, which has already been taken care by the previous speakers. I just mentioned that it was the first Connect Central Asia policy, and that visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2015 to all 5 Central Asian countries, which has been considered a milestone in amplifying the engagement between India and the region. Prime Minister Modi highlighted several times the Central Asia is the center to India's vision of an integrated and stable extended neighborhood. Same as with the Foreign Minister of S. Jaishankar, when he was assuring India's readiness to take diplomatic relation to the next level, he said that India-Central Asia relation must focus on the 4 C's, which is very important: the commerce, capacity enhancement, connectivity, and contacts. This is very important to understand. And the last one, not the least one, is the geographical and economic connectivity. The direct land connectivity is only impediments which we are facing with Central Asian countries. But since last 8 years or 10 years, both sides are working to establish seamless land connectivity through the shortest possible routes, including the Chabahar port of Iran, where India is making substantial investment, the progress on the international North-South transport corridor, joining the Asgabad agreement, which is also one of the very important milestones in that, and the partnership with Central Asian countries for joint use of Chabahar are some development that increase prospects for more effective connectivity and economic collaboration. The regional organizations such as SCO, where we are having the presidency from 2022 to 2023, is also one of the very important multilateral organizations where we are focusing more on Central Asia, and we always have focused that in SCO, Central Asia should be the center. Either we are extending into that, but our policy is that the Central Asia should be the center in SCO, whether we are extending it or not. That is other point of that. So over the period, Central Asia has also, it is not only about India. Central Asia has also emerged as a significant geopolitical and geoeconomic region. This is a known fact that it has rich hydrocarbons, hydropower potential, uranium deposit, and various natural and strategic mineral resources. But important point is that the Central Asian countries are also showing their interest to connect with the South Asia. That is something which is unique in last 4 or 5 years. They have their own pragmatism or own institute into that. So this is how they are doing that. So in conclusion, I just would like to mention that there is a growing convergence between India and Central Asian countries over vital issues such as regional security, connectivity, energy security, economic cooperation, and people-to-people contacts. Another fact which is very important, terrorism, extremism, drug trafficking also affected adversely both the region. That's why it is very important that they should have some kind of cooperation and collaboration into that. So this is, I would like to sum up here. Thank you so much.